So this is for week number 3 in Disciplines and Ideas in the Applied Social Sciences. So nandun pa rin tayo sa Discipline of Counseling. So under this topic, we have core values and ethical principles of counseling. So these are just rights, responsibilities, no? The same with the code of ethics, no, related to the guidance counselor when it comes to their patient, their counselor and counselee relationship. So the first ethical principle is autonomy of individuals. So related to autonomy of individuals, it just said here that a guidance counselor should know that there is freedom of action, meaning meron ng certain information, no, ang isang counselee to convince or to tell his or her guidance counselor. No? Meaning, may freedom of choice kung ano yung information na kanyang i-share. Hindi siya pwedeng pilitin ng kanyang counselor to share everything. No? Meron siyang freedom of choice kung hanggang saan lamang yung gusto niya sabihin when it comes to counseling. Meron siyang free choice to participate. No, meron siyang certain details na dapat niya lang sabihin. So, yun lang yung dapat malaman ng counselor. So, meron siyang freedom. Parang siyang ano, kumbaga, meron siyang freedom of speech. Meron siyang freedom of action and choice when it comes to the information that he or she will give or share to his or her guidance counselor. And aside from that, kaya ang autonomy, meaning may freedom. So, autonomy of individuals, meaning it is not a simple one and not a sufficient as a guide to action and good practice in all circumstances. Ibig sabihin nun, so, personal autonomy, malalaman mo o ma-distinguish mo ang isang certain problem to the client if they will fully discuss or share the detail. Of course, sino bang may ayaw ng ibigay lahat ng detalye to know para syempre yung solution. May certain issues no, na dapat mo sabihin, which is parang siyang puzzle na kailangan malaman ng counselor to solve or to give action to a certain problem. So, autonomous individuals, the keyword for here is right to freedom of action or freedom of choice of the counselee to tell his or her guidance counselor. And then the second ethical principle is principle of justice. So this principle tackles about justice. So it is about fair distribution of resources and services, as what you see in the presentation. Fair distribution of resources and services, unless there is some acceptable reason for treating them differently. Ibig sabihin, everything related to money, related to financial sources that the counseling will offer to the counselor, and the counselor will demand amount of his or her services not to the counseling. So there should be a fair distribution, no? Meaning, kung meron kasi yung certain fees kung magkano yung consultation, no? But the counselor should not make judgment or prejudicing, no? When it comes to wealth. If the other client is para siyang sakanga sa buhay and maayos yung kanyang fees, I mean, malaki yung kanya ibabayad. Samantalang yung kabila naman is wala siyang kakayahan na bayaran. But there should be a fair distribution, no? Hindi dapat mas malaki yung advice dito sa kabila, mas maliit. Ibig sabihin, there should be justice, there should be acceptable reason, no, in treating the client. No? So, dapat din may relevance to the question of access. Meaning, hindi lang dapat niya pipiliin yung solution or certain issue na kailangan i-discuss with his or her client. Meaning, kailangan fairness. There should be equal treatment. Equal treatment and fair distribution of resources to the clients. Dapat syempre may commitment na dun yun, no? And in view of the agreement to promote worth and dignity of each individual, counselors are required to be concerned with equal treatment for all individuals. So number 2 natin, principle of justice, meaning it's about fair distribution and treatment, walang mayaman o walang mahirap. When it comes to hearing or giving solutions, dapat meron silang fair distribution. So that is ethical principle number 2, principle of justice. The third one, there is principle of fidelity. When we say fidelity, it's about loyalty. No, it's very crucial because the counselor or client shares private information. So, therefore, kailangan ng loyalty, reliability, dependability, and action in good faith. Meaning, nandun yung confidentiality. Confidentiality of information is very parang yun na, confidential. Kasi nga, information, kailangan na yung information na shinare ng client, dun lang sa kanilang dalawa ng counselor. Hindi siya pwedeng lumabas, hindi siya pwedeng, I mean, sabihan ng counselor sa iba niyang mga client. So, there should be a secret because it is confidential. Information are confidential. Lalo na yung mga violence, abuse, mga malalalim na issue when it comes to mental health, counseling, drug abuse, anything related to violence, no? So the information should be stay between the client and the counselor. Kaya nga fidelity, there should be loyalty. And then, the fourth one, we have the principle of non-maleficence. Meaning non-maleficence, unharm. No, do not harm. There should be healing. No, do not harm. Do not be biased with the client. No? This refers to instruction to all helpers or healers. No? So, siyempre, ang role ng isang guidance counselor is to heal the wound of each client, referring to their mental health, family problem, or anything about relationship. And non-maleficence, it applies also between the counselor and the counseling relationship. Wala diyang papasok na abuse between them. Like sexual harassment, they should respect their clients, no? Syempre, because they are professionals, no? They have the license, they have parang mataas yung tingin sa kanila. So, they should not harm their client. They should not be biased, respect, and do their job as a professional guidance counselor. And aside from that, it also refers to beneficence. So meaning, ang role ng isang guidance counselor is not just to care for their client, syempre hindi nila sasaktan yun, but to promote human welfare. So meaning, this code, non-maleficent, is very important kasi if the counselor will do something bad to their clients, may possibility na matanggalan sila ng license, no? Because they have code of ethics, no? They respect, they should prioritize the welfare of their counselee, no? Their client. No? So, syempre, aside sa supervision, consultation, and training, and they must work only within the limits of their competence. Meaning, everything has limits. Everything should be stopped there. No, kailangan, it regards with their work. No, scope yun ng kanilang work. Hindi kailangan manakit or anything that will harm the client. So, that is the principle of non-maleficence. So, balikan natin ulit. So, we have four ethical rules or ethical principles related to guidance counselor. First, we have autonomy of individuals. It is the freedom of choice or freedom of action of the counselee to share information. Second, principle of justice is about equal treatment, is about fair distribution of resources and services. Third, we have principle of fidelity. So it is about loyalty, confidentiality. No, the information should stay between the counselor and the counselee. And the last one, we have the principle of non-maleficence. It should not be harm, do not harm the patient. It should be, they give respect, no, they heal, do not be biased with the others. So that's the four ethical principles of counseling. Ito lang yung mga importante. No? And going back, another topic is it's the clients and audiences in counseling. So, diniscuss ko lang dito yung mga highlight of the week number 3. So, clientele and audiences in counseling, no, marami siya very wide, broad yung mga pwedeng audiences or pwedeng client. No? Hindi na siya nag-stay with mental health, but the other people who experiences depression or anything. So, titignan natin dito. So, as we discuss this lesson, there are many fields in counseling. No? There are many different settings. Hindi na siya sa school within the guidance counselor, school guidance, meron din sa hospital, meron din sa public officials, meron din yan sa school, sa child, no, related. and of course the mental health. And then these are people who may undergo counseling. So sila nga yung mga audiences. Sila yung mga certain people na mag-undergo ng counseling because they have problem. First, people who use tobacco. So these people, users find it difficult to stop smoking. So smoking is one of the habits that can people experience. Of course, meron silang mga bisyo, no? So smokers desire to quit tobacco were added to the list of the counselors' audiences. So may mga smokers na gusto mag-quit, no? Pinipigilan nila yung sarili nila. So they will go to the counselors sa health. Siguro pag sa health, no? Health counselor, kung paano magkakaroon ng limitasyon or paano nila mapipigilan, prevent, avoid the using of to smoke, no? The cigarettes. So they should be one of audiences of counseling. Second, people who abuse of alcohol. So definitely, kailangan din ng counseling syempre, no? Alcoholism is seen as a disease, and alcoholics find it difficult to stop drinking on their own. That's why the counselor, ang gagawin nila ngayon yan, put self-control and self-discipline. So, meron silang mga techniques, no? Meron silang mga ino-note or ibibigay na reseta ng mga psychiatrist, no? Pwede din yan. So, guidance counselor will require intervention. So, hindi lang treatment, hindi lang gamot yung ibibigay. Maaring meron silang intervention, meron silang methods na i-apply. The third audiences should be or maybe women. So related to women, no, men in our society, men still predominantly control or purchasing and decision-making powers when it comes to households. So women, so this comes to violence, no. So most men still have less participation in household responsibilities and childcare. That's why women's advancement is constrained. Ibig sabihin nun, yung counselor, kailangan sila ng women. The batch of the women in helping women appreciate their own values. Hindi lang sila stuck sa household, their abilities, aptitudes, and interests to utilize this to develop their full potential. So there are many ways, no? The guidance counselor will give them advice, no, on how they will develop themselves, empower. So there's girl empowerment, there's a self-empowerment, self-care, there's motivational intervention between women. So, syempre mga related dito mostly sa pagdating sa violence, no, yung mga physical abuse, mental abuse women. And then, next, older adults. No? Aside from women, older adults, due to the aging population, no, is increasingly rising and demands more attention. Meaning, older people or the elders, retirees, no, who are just adjusting to life outside work, feel lost and ignored. No? So they feel helpless or hopeless because they are aging. That's why the counselor should interfere or intervene within their lives because transition from a busy life to retirement stage must be instituted. So, mahirap dalhin yun ng elders. No? Because of partner, hindi lang older adults, maaaring may problem sila when it comes to loss of partner, decline mental capacity and mobility, increased loneliness, decline in financial security. So, they will feel depression, inferiority, no? Because they will feel that they have no use in the society because they are aging. Also, that's why counselors may help them, no? Build their self-confidence, their self-esteem, or search for other things no, na maaaring pagkalibangan. So, elder adults should know and contact with their guidance counselors to help their depression or any related to mental health. And then, people with AIDS. So people with AIDS acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So these people is are increasing, no? So people with AIDS, counselors help them to improve their quality of life and handle their emotional stress and low self-esteem. So it's all about ulit tungkol sa self-confidence, self-esteem, and stress. So sino ba naman ang gusto magkaroon noon? So counseling approach requires sensitivity and appreciation of the intricacies of the disease. No? aids in assisting and educating the victim support system. So, dapat hindi lang sila nakastick dun sa hangganan na AIDS has no cure, but there's guidance counselor to guide and give them advices to help or support themselves. No? Meron kasi education related to AIDS. What are the main discussion? What are the main ano yung mga dapat na isaalang-alang, like ano yung treatment, ano yung cure, ano yung gamot, no, to avoid or to prevent man lang that certain sickness. And then, victims of abuse. So anyone can be a victim of abuse, not just women but also men, no? And the LGBT community. So the victims of abuse, obviously, it is very traumatic, no, for them na i-carry araw-araw yung kanilang mga uh, memories, no, related to violence, related to depression. That's why victims of abuse, it may be domestic, no, characterized by spouse or and child abuse, especially mga bata, no, they should be like that, being abused by their parents, by their relatives, or anyone responsible for them. And spouse abuse, these are battered wife, or kasi there are causes, no, related to that. Maaring the husband is addicted to drugs, poverty, maaring na-depress, and career disappointment. That's why pinagbubunan nila pansin yung kanilang mga husbands or wives. No? So this definitely causes psychological damage to the victim. Not just physical, no, because of the abuse. Maring sinasaktan, but more on yung pinakamasakit dito is psychological damages that they will deal with the mental health, with depression. No, it will be forever remembered. No, it will be erased in the memory na ito lang saglit lang, ito na maalis na, but the pain that they are experiencing is still there. That's why counselors are increasingly being utilized to help the victim. So, maaaring psychiatrist kung hindi na kaya ng isang guidance counselor. And then the LGBTQ gay men and lesbian women. So it is related to discrimination when it comes to gender. So gender discrimination nowadays is rampant, no? There are killings, there are maltreatments, no? Victims of harassments, violence, discrimination, and isolation. It, they will suffer from fear, denial, family clash, held our sentences, and for judgment. So everything here, the counselor should be focused on self-awareness, self-acceptance, and understanding. So there should be respect in every gender. There should be a self-realization, and they should not judge the LGBTQ community. Respect, self-acceptance, awareness that the modern period is changing. Everything is changing, so we should accept changes. No? So LGBT community, gender discrimination is also a part of counseling process. That's all the discussion for clientele and audience. So madali lang naman ito kasi these are just examples of people who are involved or can experience mental health issues and depression. So that will be the end of our discussion for week number 3. It is very simple to understand and I give you many examples. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you understand within this lesson.